Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel. It is the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition, and we are set for a double-header Sunday afternoon of action. Of course, first and foremost, we're starting off with this race at the Daytona Road Course for the second race of this final season. We had the Daytona 500 a few nights ago, all the way back on Friday, and on that Friday night, we were able to get the win in the Daytona 500 with my driver, Ryan Blaney, and what a win it was. I didn't think I was going to be able to win the Daytona 500 in this game, but we ran top 5 all night long, and at the end of it, we had a shot to win, and we were able to hold off a few fast drivers behind us by the likes of Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson were all right there in the top 5 at the end of the race, battling Ryan Blaney. Probably one of the more actually intense finishes we've had on this game on the channel. Got some updated news with NASCAR 21 Ignition and our status with NASCAR 21 Ignition going forward. Of course, this is the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel. This is going to be a season that's pretty much going to get drug out throughout the course of the actual NASCAR season so we can have a more modern game being played during the actual NASCAR season and not as much of the NASCAR 05 stuff, but we would have some of that on the side still. Unfortunately, I have some breaking news and a video coming up on it probably at the end of this stream this afternoon, and that is NASCAR 21 Ignition has struck again. Another glitch, another setback, this time on the career mode side of things. There was a patch, a version 1.43 patch update that very little details that I know as of what went down in that patch exactly, but the main focus of that patch was the most recent DLC they had on Thursday. Not all the paint schemes were available for all the drivers from that DLC, so this patch was to fix that, to give all the throwback paint schemes with the throwback paint scheme patch, or the throwback paint scheme DLC, that every driver had their throwback schemes instead of just a few of them, or some of them were missing them. However many were being missed, those are now in the game. At the cost of me updating that patch this morning, going to record another career mode race, there's an issue with my career mode. It has reset my career mode all the way back to race number 5 at Phoenix. Only the first 4 races are accounted for. Everything I did from race 5 to we're going on 34 at Kansas, zilch. Nothing is there. I tried to close the application immediately as soon as I saw that. I tried doing everything I could. I can't backtrack. I've already updated the game. I can't cancel the update and go back to the way it was beforehand. I just can't do it. Like, there's no way of being able to do it. So I have literally lost almost all the progress, the entire career mode. I kid you not. So what does that mean going forward with the career mode side of things? Well, what that means going forward, I can do, really, it's down to 2 things. Number 1, I could simulate right back to where it was, and we can run the career mode the way it is there. I'm not going to redo all 30, however many races I missed, 5 to 30, 29 races? I'm not going to redo all 29 races. That's ridiculous, especially on 100%. And you guys might be thinking, well, just do some shortened races. I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's still a waste of my time at this point. I mean, I already did it once. Why would I waste the time to do it again? Even if I did shortened races, I guarantee you, to do 29 races on, let's say, like 10% or 5%, it would still take a good 5-6 hours. I guarantee it. With having to practice, get the setup right, the handling the way I want it for every race, it would take 6 hours. I am not wasting that much time doing that, so I'm definitely not doing that. Could I simulate it? I tried to simulate it already. I simulated up to about race 14 at COTA. And I was like, okay, let me try to simulate it. The stats are going to be a little off, but we'll see. Every race I simulated, I finished outside the top 18. Now, we did have a lot of DNFs, but remember, I won 9 races in the regular season, Not all in the regular season. I guess I won one playoff race. I won 8 races in the regular season. I won the round of 16 playoff race at Richmond. Those are the 9 wins I have in my rookie season. I guarantee you I will not have 9 wins, which means with simulating all those races that I'm not going to have as many playoff points going back into the playoffs. So even if I were to simulate all the way back to where I was, what are the odds that I'm even in the round of 8 in the playoffs to begin with simulating everything? Like, there's little to no chance that I'm going to be able to if I'm finishing those positions. Now, I would have had 1 win already, so I would have been in the playoffs with the 1 win as long as I was in the top 30 points, which I wasn't finishing that bad, so I don't think it would have been that bad. But regardless of the fact, again, the game glitched. So, the only other option outside of those 2, so I guess there are 3 options. The only other option I can do is I just stop the career mode. And you guys, there has been, it's really mixed. It's very polarizing because it seems like half of you guys want me to at least finish this season at bare minimum of NASCAR 21 Ignition. And I plan on still, striving to go forward with it because when I start something, I want to finish it. Even if it gets delayed, I come around and I finish it. With this issue coming upon, I really don't want to finish it. I've wasted way too much time with the career mode, with NASCAR 21 Ignition, and just staying through the glitches, staying through the bugs and everything way too long. So when I say that this is the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition, it really is the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition. I'm not resetting the career mode. I'm not going to just restart it. We're not doing that because that's basically one season. Everything we did, all 33 races so far, live stream and premiered, they're done. They're done. That is NASCAR 21 Ignition's career mode as we know it. Will I keep those videos and keep those streams up on the channel? I really don't know. I think I might. Just so that way if there is people saying, why didn't you do a NASCAR 21 Ignition career mode? Newer people that, come across the channel and see me race NASCAR 21 Ignition, then I have to explain myself over and over and over again. I probably still will have to explain myself. Why aren't you, finishing the NASCAR 21 Ignition video? And that's why I made a video this morning when I came across the issue. So I just wanted to put that up at the start of this video because I know that this is going to obviously be the next stream, the next video of NASCAR 21 Ignition, so I wanted to say that now. So as for tonight goes, you can do quick races to the final round of 8. I'm not doing that. I stated the reason why I don't want to do that is because it's still, even if I did 2% races, it would take me a couple hours. I guarantee it. I guarantee it would take me, if I did the very shortest amount of races, 2%. It just would not happen. And all the positions, like everything is going to be different. The playoff field is going to be different. It's probably not even going to be the same drivers in the playoffs. Again, who's to say I'm even going to win 9 races, especially that quick? That means I'm going to have to qualify really well. And I can't qualify worth of crap on this game. Even in road courses, sometimes it just doesn't take my lap time. I mean, we had that like 7 or 8 times this year where I qualified last, but with no time as if I simulated it, even though I obviously didn't simulate it. Like Darlington, I probably should have qualified top 5 because I was 4th in practice speed. But the game didn't take my time at either one of the 2 Darlington races. So, I'm not doing it. I'm drawing the line. I wondered what that breaking point would be, and I honestly didn't expect that to happen. When I had the game downloading, and when I had the patch update this morning, never in my wildest dreams would I thought that the game would reset my career mode. But it did. And I don't know how it did, but it did. And it's weird, too, because all the settings I had with the stages on and everything, from having to turn it on, and the 25% race because of the game crashing during the Daytona 500 the other night that we ran on NASCAR 21 Ignition. So between all of that, all those settings saved. So that tells me that it was the patch this morning that reset my career mode. 100%. It was the patch that reset it. It wasn't the game crashing the other night, because my settings have still saved from that race that night. So if the settings saved, you would think the career mode stuff would save. And why would it backtrack me that far? Literally, we were on race 5, 3 months ago? Like, maybe a little under 3 months ago? Like, it literally reset all my progress I did over the last 2 months. It took me almost 2 months, over 2 months, to get to that point in the season. And for that to happen with literally 3 races left, yeah, that's it. That's where I draw the line of the career mode. Now, the good news is, for you guys that do want NASCAR 21 Ignition content on the channel, you will still get it. We are still going to complete this season. And the best thing about this season, I guess, in the sense that I have to do the points, is that I'm doing the points. So regardless of the fact, even if like the game crashes or for whatever reason, we don't have to worry about it saving anything. All we got to do is get to the end of the race, and we'll have our points. Stages will be on still, so we will finish this season out. The season's probably going to finish a lot sooner than what I originally expected because we're not doing career mode stuff on the side. That also means, as far as not doing the career mode, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series game career mode, that will also take place a lot more frequently during the actual NASCAR season, which I wasn't originally expecting to do. That was more of an off-season thing, and then worst case scenario, I would finish it next off-season because I will have extra time on my hands, not having to record any more NASCAR 21 Ignition career mode. I can record more of that, so I still will be working hard on this channel. Don't get me wrong. It also puts more focus on me being able to work harder on other things on the channel too, you know, other videos while I'm at the track and everything, that I don't have to worry about this game anymore for the career mode side of things. So there are some benefits, and there's definitely a lot of disadvantages that come with it, but there are very few benefits that still come with it that will help other content on the channel be, you know, more professional, more clean cut. It's just better content for you guys overall. So what patch? Patch 1.43 came out either last night or very early today. I didn't see when it came out. I logged onto the PlayStation and went to open the application. It said open without updating. I was like, oh, there's another patch update. And then I looked on Twitter, patch 1.43. Literally, the patch was simply just to update the DLC. That's all it was. I kid you not. I read the notes. All it was to update the DLC because there was an issue that with the throwback DLC that not all the throwback paint schemes were in the game. So the patch update was to essentially assure that all the paint schemes were in the game. That's what it had nothing to do with on the track stuff. It had nothing to do with the AI. It had nothing to do with the actual racing itself in this game. It didn't have anything to do with online lobbies. It didn't have anything to do with next gen. It had nothing to do with anything except for the throwback. And when I tried to look to see if there was any more details or information on their website was crashed. I couldn't even get on their website. I tried like 3 or 4 different times with the link that the PlayStation gave me on the PlayStation information side of things. So that's my opening monologue, I guess, to this. Now let's get this race underway. I have not qualified yet, no practice, so you guys will see qualifying today. And another thing, I'll get into that with the qualifying. So let's get qualifying underway. You guys came to see some racing today. We will give you racing. We will still have a doubleheader tonight. It will be the final Truck Series race on NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup for the custom schedule season. We locked the championship up at Homestead last night, but we will round out the season at Daytona. So a Daytona doubleheader on the channel. And Ryan Blaney will take to session qualifying round 1. I killed a lot of time there. I only got like 7 minutes left. I think it was 25 minutes if I remember right. So Blaney to qualify, he's going to put down 2 laps, which is all I planned on putting down anyway in round number 1. And in light of the Rolex 24 being this weekend, we are going to have ourselves a race at the Daytona Road Course here today. So I wanted to make sure I was going to get this race in either yesterday or today. I have a lot more time to do it today with having off of work. So that is why we are having this race today. By the way, welcome to the stream, everybody that is in here. Tyler Burbeck, Joshua Rumsey, Cerebral Assassin, Michael Turner, I believe I saw in there. Billy Kramer, welcome, everybody. Called it. Rousey was coming back at the Rumble. Yeah, I'm glad. I am glad that not only she is back, but I hope that her and Becky go at it at Mania. As looking forward to that match a couple years ago when it never happened, one-on-one, and we should be able to get it this time around. By the way, that men's Rumble match was so predictable. when Lashley beat Lesnar, it was unpredictable going into the night, but once Lashley beat Lesnar and the way it ended with Reigns taking Lesnar out, Blaney almost missed the front stretch chicane. Barely got up on the curbing, but he had to creep his way in there, so that first lap was not very good. He's going to have to pick up the pace here on lap 2 if he's going to want to make it to the second round of qualifying. By the way, NASCAR rules have to be on for the stages to be on. I did not know that until I was, working with the settings. And the reason why I was going to turn NASCAR rules off and keep the stages on, would we have had a caution? No. But the penalty system in this game is so harsh. I went into turn 1 where you have that excess pavement. I went wide. I didn't cut the corner. There's no way to cut the corner in turn 1 because you have the inside pit wall there. So you can't cut the corner. So I went a little wide into the braking zone. And it gave me an invalidated lap, which means that that lap wasn't accounted for. So if that happens in the race, we're going a lap down immediately. Like right there, it just gave me a quarter cutting penalty. What? For what? Oh my god, this game is just... I've already had a bad day with this game already, and we haven't even gotten the race in yet. Well, I'm going to run one more lap then, if that one didn't count. I didn't even cut the corner either. Oh my god. And now we just destroyed the nose. Off the curb. Look at how much damage we have from the curb. This game. 35 more races and I'm done with this game. We'll do some lobby stuff when private lobbies become a thing. Finally. Sometime in February. So we'll do some of that too. Alright, this lap will count. This will hopefully be the final lap for Ryan Blaney. He did not corner cut. I'm going to have to take that corner extremely wide just to make sure I don't have a corner cutting penalty. If you go off into the grass at all, you're probably going to get a corner cutting penalty. Even if you brake late. Like right here, if I would have went wide into that corner and hit the wall, it probably would have gave me an invalidated lap on top of it. But if I turn it off, there's no stages, and we want to have stages on all season because it wouldn't make any sense to have stages off on some races and stages on others. So we're just going to have to work with it and hope for the best. And that's also going to put more pressure on Blaney to have to run super clean. But he was able to get through the Daytona 500 and win the race. What will happen today at the Daytona road course? Keegan going beast mode. Yeah, I saw Jimmy had some damage this morning in the Rolex 24, unfortunately. Sure all NASCAR fans were pulling for him. So as long as he doesn't miss the front stretch chicane, the second lap will be accounted for. His first lap was a 157.552. And we will see for Ryan Blaney what his best lap time will be. Down to the apron, 153.316. It gave me a penalty for going down to the apron. That lap counted, that's all that matters. We're going to skip to the next session. So on to session 2, we'll see if Blaney is in the top 12. Second fastest in qualifying for round 1 for Ryan Blaney. He's going to try to start the season 2-0, getting the Daytona sweep, winning the 500 and potentially winning the road course. Chase Elliott had the top time of a 153.138 Blaney only a tenth of a second behind that. I think Blaney can pick a tenth of a second up to nab the first pole of the season. I've never scored a pole in this game, by the way, so maybe we can get it done. Seth got screwed. Yes, he did. I mean, the way that match ended, though, even if his hand didn't get to the rope, Seth was going to lose. What is going on here? We're like half inside the car and half outside the car. What is this? I don't have this game. Billy, do not buy this game, no matter what. I don't care what patches come up from now and the final patch of this game. Do not buy it. That goes for anybody that has not bought this game yet. You're in danger of your career mode getting reset at literally any moment. That's just not... It's not it. Round 2. And Blaney will run every lap until that time expires in the second session of qualifying as he tries to go for a pole now. He qualified back in the 11th position of the Daytona 500, so just outside the top 10. Of course, this being the second race of the year, it's the second qualifying session of the season. Jerry Boiler, welcome to the stream. Sticking with Heat 5, yes, definitely. Do not buy NASCAR 21 Ignition. That was my final straw today. Like I've been saying this whole time, just kind of wait it out. Don't buy it now. But maybe you can buy it later. No, today was the final straw. This morning was the final straw. My career mode reset for no reason. That's it. And it sucks for you guys, and it sucks for me, because I did want to see how the career mode was going to play out. Even though this game is absolute garbage, I still wanted to see, how we were going to fare through a 4-season career mode. Great set of corners there for Ryan Blaney. Back up onto the oval. He knows not to go down to the apron into the tri-oval this time. This first lap is a quick one. Remember, Elliott had a 153.1. Blaney rolls. Oh, what? I did not... Oh my gosh, this game, I did not cut the corner. Did I cut that corner at all? This is just like the Indy road course on NASCAR Heat 5. This is ridiculous. We're not going to make it through this race, guys. That's the second time in qualifying that I did not cut a corner, and it gave me a penalty. It went from basically no penalties at all in this game to now, like, every little thing is a penalty. The rule is 2 tires up on the curbing, and I had literally all 4 either on the curbing or just below. I did that in the first session, and it didn't even penalize me, and then I did it on the first lap of this session to penalize me. So that lap didn't count for Ryan Blaney. So he would currently still be 12th on the board unless he can get a lap in. This is unbelievable. Can we just not race road courses on this game anymore now? Is that what this game has come to? I think the game's ticked off at me for not finishing the career mode. That's probably what it is. We'll get to the live realistic commentary when the race starts. Right now, I've let my frustrations out. In a calmly fashion. Great set of corners that time around off the curbing. That time there was no penalty for hitting the curb. Blaney's pushing hard in qualifying. He will not push this hard in the race. I can guarantee you that. 152.459. That was faster than any lap Chase Elliott had ran in Session 1. Blaney was second in Session 1 behind his best friend Elliott. Why is a 7-second lap time possible at Road America? NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition. I don't know. Never had that issue. Sounds like something that would happen on this game. Well, the good news is, a few days ago, I bought SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 because I finished like everything I could have possibly finished in NASCAR, or sorry, in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. So I can't wait to get that. I'm supposed to get that today, so I'll have some extra time on my hands with not having to record any more career mode episodes. I said that I would put my extra time towards other stuff, but NASCAR hasn't started yet, so I can't really, you know, get ready with those videos. I will have a full season predictions video coming out before the Busch Clash sometime this week for a fair warning like I do every year, so. Oh man, massive crash off the turtles for Ryan Blaney as he barrel rolls in through the grass on the backstretch at Daytona. We didn't see a flip in the Daytona 500, but we saw one in the Daytona Road Course qualifying session. And Blaney's going to pit this time. Now he's got to stay out. He doesn't have time to pit. We only have less than 2 minutes left. Well, good thing his lap prior to that was really quick. He still may get the pole. So you cannot use any sort of excess pavement in this game. And I'll have to remember that at COTA, because that's going to be a major track where there's a lot of runoff area, and if you go wide at all, it will give you a penalty, I'd have to assume. If it does here, it's going to do it at every other road course, you would have to imagine. And as the tires start to wear off at today's race, at the Daytona Road Course, that's going to make for something very, very interesting, to say the least. Guys, what am I doing wrong in that corner that it's giving me a penalty? I'm going to have to turn it off. I'm going to have to turn it off. That is the second time it's given me a penalty in that corner, and I'm not even cutting it. I've gotten penalized 5 times. 5 times in what, probably 8 laps I've ran? Only 3 of them have counted. Or, well, I guess I've counted for 2 laps. 2 laps counted this round, 2 in the first. So, I've ran 9 laps, and I've been penalized 5 times. Turn it off. Unfortunately, we're not going to have stages. And why am I in the negative? The time has ran out, and I'm still running, by the way. Now, usually when the time runs out, you have a chance to start your next lap. But obviously, that lap didn't even count. So maybe that's why it's scoring this one? I don't really know how that works exactly. If I cross the start-finish line this time, and qualifying doesn't end, that makes 0 sense whatsoever why I'm still on the racetrack. NASCAR 22 has to be 10 times better than this game. I mean, it can't even be like a small upgrade either. Like how NASCAR Heat was kind of like slowly progressing every game. This game is so bad that the next game has to be so much better. WWE 2K22 definitely looks promising. It's probably going to be the first WWE game I'm going to have since 19. As far as recent games. Well, we've seen everything in this qualifying session. We have seen fast laps, we've seen a flip, we've seen heavy damage, we've seen corner cutting that isn't actual corner cutting with the black flags. Everything a qualifying session at the Daytona Road Course could possibly ask for. Oh, now the time's up before I even finish the lap. What? What was that? How does that even happen? Ryan Blaney is still on the pole here today, his first pole of the season by 0.2 of a second over Chase Elliott. So Elliott's time picked up from round 1 to round 2. Blaney's did as well, but Blaney's more so in the sense that he will get his first pole of the season. Chase Elliott will start in the second position on the front row. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson in row 2. Cole Custer and Austin Dillon in row 3. Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin in row 4. Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece in row number 5. So that will be the top 10 in qualifying. Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano. I don't know why 13 drivers were in that round. It was only supposed to be 12, but... oh boy.
In here to bring you the action of this 3.6-mile
Here's
road
Alex.
course at Daytona. This race is still fairly new to the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, so it could be a chance for a new name to find their way to victory lane. We've seen some drivers struggle and some succeed through practice and qualifying this weekend, but the race is where that effort comes to a head. Pre-race is over. The cars and drivers are lined up and ready to go. Let's head trackside to get the engines fired for today's race.
Well, there's the pre-race, and now we're about to get into this one here today. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. Yep, that was qualifying you might have just seen a little bit ago. Again, the race is about to start. SG Fulton 83 also, welcome to the stream. Didn't see it or call you out in the chat there earlier. My bad on that one. Alright, see, the problem... I really want to have stages on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this race, and if I have a corner cutting penalty for not cutting the racetrack, then I'll restart, and I'll have no cautions and no penalties on. No NASCAR rules, which unfortunately would mean no stages. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to try here first. 16 laps in the opening stage of the race. This will be a 70-lap event around the Daytona Road Course. It'll be Blaney and Elliott leading the field to the green, and we are underway at Daytona. Great jump by Chase Elliott off the start, and he's going to get to the lead down into turn 1 on the outside. Blaney almost went too far wide that time, barely keeps it out on the racetrack as Elliott tries to pull him through the S's. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream as well. Elliott definitely looking like the one to beat here early on between himself and Ryan Blaney. I would have to imagine everybody should be able to make it on fuel through the first stage of the race, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any pit stops in the opening 2 stages tonight. Or today, I should say, this afternoon. Blaney settling himself in second, but Elliott is driving away right now. And Blaney's going to be losing time getting back up onto the oval in turns 1 and 2 because he does not want to risk a corner cutting penalty at all. So he will be going wide pretty much every time in that corner. Look at how far Elliott is ahead. Blaney's about 2 seconds ahead of Harvick behind him in third, but Elliott's already a couple seconds in front of him. So Blaney's going to try to make that up now into the bus stop. Really trying to make up as much time as he can in both the bus stop and then the front stretch chicane when we get there. Definitely gained a couple tenths of a second back. But Elliott's so good in the infield portion of this racetrack. Blaney in hot pursuit. Great set of corners. He got through there 10 times better than Elliott. Now he'll try to hop in the draft into the tri-oval. And a big run coming down into turn 1 as Chase Elliott, despite qualifying second, will lead the opening lap of the race. A lot better through turn 1 than the opening lap for Ryan Blaney. He carried not quite as much speed in there. And Blaney is all over the back of Elliott. I think this could be a fun race between the 9 and the 12 here today. The race to lap 16. Blaney's still looking for his first stage win of the year. So is Chase Elliott, so a playoff point will be on the line. Blaney is the regular season points leader, not only after winning the Daytona 500, but all the stage points he accumulated in the Daytona 500 as well. Again, Elliott going to pull him, getting back up onto the oval in turns 1 and 2. I guess there was a big crash there in the Rolex 24 this morning in that area of the racetrack. Be on the lookout for that today. But Blaney's a lot closer to Elliott this lap into the bus stop than what he was on the opening lap, so we'll see if he can close that gap by a couple tenths again, like he did previously, and I think he's definitely going to be able to do so. And he was even better in the front stretch chicane. So 2 laps in, at the start-finish line this time, Chase Elliott leads, Ryan Blaney second, Kevin Harvick in third, Kyle Larson fourth, Austin Dillon rounds out the top 5. And as Blaney beats Elliott through the shifts, Blaney will lead his first lap of the race, passing Elliott in the tri-oval. Heavy braking zoned into turn 1, big left-handed corner, very sharp. Blaney's got the track position, Elliott going to try to get back around him on the attack here. By the way, this is one of my favorite Blaney schemes. I really like this advanced auto parts paint scheme. I like the midnight one he ran maybe a little bit better, even though it's more basic. I don't know why. Both of those schemes are really good. The throwback scheme he had too, the advanced auto part, all 3 of those schemes are really good. Probably my 3 favorite from last season for Blaney, to be completely honest. I would assume that there will be lap traffic in the opening stage. Oh, Blaney almost too wide into the wall there. He had to check up. That's going to give Elliott a pretty big run. No rear view mirror to look off of, so he's just going to have to block for his life. And Elliott's got a massive run. He's just following Blaney in the draft so far. Who will win the race into the braking zone? Elliott trying to drive it in deep. Blaney backing up the corner maybe a little bit more than Elliott did. So far, so good through 3 laps in this race. If we get any cautions in this one, we know we're going to have a couple stage breaks that will come into play. This will be very interesting. Blaney's got a lot less pressure into turn 1 this time on Elliott. A little over a 1 second gap that time after he pulled away a bit. He used a little bit of the curbing on that front stretch chicane, which for whatever reason got penalized twice in qualifying for. Again, definitely going to have to try to stay off those curbs as much as possible. And then we flipped in the bus stop curb in qualifying as well. So, again, just going to have to watch that throughout the day. The flat curbs, though, on the infield portion of the racetrack have not gotten penalized for those, so I do trust those quite a bit. You're definitely going to see Blaney hugging those. But the giant curbs and the turtles, I guess you would say, in both the bus stop and the front stretch chicane are going to be the two areas of the track where he's going to have to watch it the most as far as curbing goes. And then right here, getting back up onto the oval, trying to take that wide entry. Andrew Soto, welcome to the stream. Oh, Mike Joy's voice is in the game? That's pretty cool. Who doesn't like Mike Joy? Harvick and Larson battling for third. It looks like they're within a couple tenths of a second of each other. Elliott is still kind of creeping there with Blaney. He's hanging around for now. Blaney not going to take it as deep into the front stretch chicane this time, at least attempted not to. Still got through there pretty well, all things considered. Beats Elliott back to the throttle and back up through the gears. Well, the best thing is if we do get, penalized in the first couple stages of the race, at least we know that we will have a couple stage breaks to reset ourselves. Worst case scenario. But obviously Blaney wants all the stage points he can. He's only 1 point ahead of Kyle Larson. I know it's only one race into the season, so the points are going to be tight. But he only outscored Larson on points in the Daytona 500 by 1. Larson won a stage. It also finished higher than him in stage 2 as well, finishing second in that stage versus Blaney's third and fourth. So even though Blaney won the Daytona 500, Larson finished second in the 500. Blaney's only 1 point ahead of him heading into the Daytona Road Course today. And you look at the running order with Kyle Larson in fourth and Blaney leading, it's not that big of a difference here in the opening stage of the race as well. But Blaney's been picture perfect so far in this one and looking to stay that way. Leaderboard's all over the place. Yeah, it was normal there for a couple laps, and then it got wonky that last time through the infield portion of the racetrack. When I say look up at the leaderboard, I mean that theoretically sometimes, just because of this game alone. In other games, not so much, but... almost hit the turtle that time. Blaney had to check up a little more than he wanted to when he was supposed to get back into the throttle. Still comfortably ahead of Elliott. Oh, don't penalize me for that. I was looking at the chat. Glad it didn't penalize me. Elliott gained a lot in the braking zone, but getting back into the gas, Blaney will pull right back ahead of him again. 11 laps to go in stage 1 at the Daytona Road Course. I did watch the Rumble last night all the way through. I almost fell asleep during the Edge and Beth Phoenix and then the Miz and Maurice match, and that's only because I was up from 4 o'clock in the morning all the way to the end of the pay-per-view at about midnight last night, so it was a long day for me. On top of the actual 10-hour workday plus streaming and working out. It was a long day for me, and I was super cold yesterday after work, so... Blaney a little bit of a rear wheel spin, trying to get back to the gas of the International Horseshoe. I will say that Blaney got around Elliott at a good time because he has not pulled away from Chase Elliott pretty much at all. Really, the only spot he is better than him on a consistent basis would be the front stretch chicane, more so on exit than entrance. 198 miles an hour down the backstretch at Daytona before heading into this braking zone. This is a very, very fast road course, to say the least. Blaney's definitely getting a little bit tighter in the bus stop as well. He's not being able to carry as much speed, even with just 6-lap older tires. It's being a longer road course, the tires will wear out not as many laps. Again, Elliott just trying to put the pressure on. We'll bounce up off the curbing. Didn't hurt Blaney at all, really. Yeah, I didn't fall asleep because the match was boring at all. I mean, I didn't think they... You know, the match is what I kind of expected it to be, I guess, but there were some good moments in it. I'm surprised Maurice did a hurricanrana off the top rope. That was kind of surprising. I don't think I've ever seen her do anything like that before, so that was pretty impressive. And then Beth Phoenix powerbombing The Miz was pretty cool, too. I mean, she literally carried him like halfway across the ring before she powerbombed him. I know she had the leverage to get underneath him. She didn't, like, legitimately pick him up. She kind of just, like, held him. But still, to be able to hold that much weight that far across the ring when you're at a size disadvantage, too, like, she obviously weighs less than The Miz. That was impressive. If Moxley would have showed up, that place would have... The roof would have blown off of it. I was kind of upset the only comeback in the men's match, comeback as far as, like, you know, old wrestlers returning, was Shane McMahon showing up at the end. It was literally the only one. I was surprised Bad Bunny showed up. He looked impressive, though, for not being an actual wrestler. Johnny Knoxville took a couple bumps. We knew he was going to be in the match. There were a lot of people that came back in the Women's Rumble. Like, a lot. And there usually is, because there's not as many women on the roster as what there is in the men's division. Just because there's not as many, like, like, the mid-card, there's really not a mid-card in the women's division. It's an upper card, and then you have, like, very minimal tag team division. And that's pretty much all you have. Well, it's not the only race of the Daytona Road Course this week. Our first race of the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 season will also be at the Daytona Road Course, and it will be tomorrow night. Again, because the Rolex 24 taking place this weekend, we're getting a couple Daytona Road Course races in on back-to-back days here on the channel. This one today, of course, and then tomorrow's live stream will be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Daytona Road Course, NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Custom schedule season opener. Will be racing as the Biff. Coincidentally, he is actually coming back for the Daytona 500 this year, supposedly at least, so I am ecstatic about that. On the road to Daytona, 21 days away from the 500, and only 7 days away from the Busch Clash next weekend. Live commentary at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting with the heat races. Yeah, I mean, some of the women... I was surprised Melina came back. She was probably maybe the most shocking in the women's match, only because we knew Lita was going to be there. We knew Michelle McCool was going to be there. We knew Mickie James was going to be there. So we knew some of them, but we didn't know all of them. Mighty Molly. That lady from Right to Censor, Ivory. That was pretty funny, too. There were a couple that took me by surprise, but I knew who they were. No lap traffic yet. We're at lap 9. We are just past halfway now through stage number 1, at least. And still caution free at the Daytona Road Course. Ryan Blaney's led all but the opening lap of the race. The guy who qualified second led the first lap. That'd be Chase Elliott. We knew that these were going to be the two favorites coming in based off qualifying alone. They not only qualified first and second in round 2 to set the running order, but also in round 1, and they were intertwined with one another, where Elliott was faster in round 1, but Blaney was faster when it counted the most in round 2. And even though Blaney's led all but just the opening lap of the race, because Elliott had a great launch off the start and beat Blaney into turn 1, he held on for a lap. It looked like he was going to pull away there the first half of the lap. Blaney finally caught back up to him in the second half of the lap and was able to take the lead in the tri-oval on lap 2. A little flatter corner there. Blaney makes a little bit of a mistake transitioning back onto the banking. Might let Elliott back into it just a tad. I think you have it wrong. I think Carmella is Kelly Kelly 2.0. Means Kelly Kelly was in WWE before Carmella. Well, I don't buy the rumors like you saw with Paige and Caitlyn. I used to look at that stuff, and now I don't look at it at all. For one, I like to be surprised a little bit more, because the internet does kind of kill, or not kill, but it hurts professional wrestling in the sense. So I try not to look at that stuff as much as I possibly can. I mean, look at how many years they said CM Punk was going to come back, and he never came back. Until he came back with AEW last year. Like, they were saying he was rumored to come back for a couple years before he actually did, and never happened. So I try, rumors are rumors, and until, you know, it actually comes to be with anything, not just wrestling. It's like that with NASCAR too. Blaney and Elliott have absolutely hit their strides in the early going. We know we're going to have at least 2 restarts because of the stage breaks alone today. So we do know that that will be coming eventually. It's just crazy how these two have just absolutely pulled away from the rest of the field. Blaney's trying to start the season 2-0, which would just be impressive of itself. You have to go back to Matt Kenseth. In 2009 was the last driver who won the first 2 races to start the season. I don't even think I've ever done that in these video game playthroughs, past or present. I don't think I've ever won the first 2 races of the year. Might be able to fact check me on that, but I really don't know. Blaney coming in pretty hot into that front stretch chicane. He's done that a couple times. He's been able to get the car to slow up without wheel hopping it or locking the brakes up at all, which has definitely been good. Definitely got to be full focused. Even more so than usual just because of the penalties and how strict they are in NASCAR 21 Ignition. Not even cutting the course. Going wide will probably give us a penalty. If we end up in the grass at all, if we go wide on the excess pavement parts, it will give us a penalty. I know that from qualifying. You really have to be perfect. And so far for Ryan Blaney, he has been perfect today. Long ways to go, though. 60 laps left that last time by. 70 laps is not a lot. This is a longer road course in length. 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Very similar to the Daytona 500. Degree warmer is the only difference. Cloud coverage exactly the same. Ooh, off the turtle. That time it didn't roll the 12 car over, thankfully. A little bit of a hiccup again. Probably been the most treacherous area of the racetrack for him. It's where he made that big mistake in qualifying. Good thing he had the pole time the lap before damaging the race car in that second session. I really hope it doesn't black flag us when we come into the pits because we go below the double yellow line. That's what I'm scared of next. They didn't do that in the Daytona 500 when we had to make a couple green flag stops, so I'm hoping that that won't happen here. We had 8 cautions in the Daytona 500 on Friday night. None so far in this one. Daytona doubleheader Sunday. Again, later tonight, we will have the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 Truck Series Custom Schedule Season Finale at Daytona. Championship already locked up last night at Homestead for Bobby Hamilton Sr. But he'll try to go for that 15th win of the season in the season finale. And still a good race for second in the point standings between Carl Edwards and Brandon Witt as well. That we'll be keeping an eye on as well. I know it's not as big as the championship itself, but the championship is already decided, so we'll keep an eye on both Edwards and Witt still throughout the course of the night. That will start later today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be race 2 of our doubleheader later tonight. We'll have 4 laps to go in Stage 1 this time by. Blaney and Elliott both looking for their first stage win of the young season. So give Ryan Blaney a 6th playoff point after winning the 500. 5 bonus points, or playoff points I should say, for winning a race. As long as we don't get more than 16 different winners, Blaney will already be locked in. Just in case, he'll try to get that second win, potentially, here today. Very hard into that front stretch chicane again. It's just, again, I know it's been repeated a couple times already in just the first 13 laps, but Blaney and Elliott are so equal with one another. It is crazy that they're just not really losing each other a whole lot. Elliott's not losing Blaney at all. Blaney's not pulling away from Elliott at all. Don't forget, pit road will close with 2 laps to go in the stage. And I'm not sure if the game is actually up to date with the accuracy in that actual rule in NASCAR, but we're going to have to take it for what it is. I did run that realistically in the heat games anyway, even though it didn't actually count as a legitimate rule. I played by the rules regardless, and I'm going to try to do that here today. Alex Bowman is back in last place. I'm almost curious to know if he has wrecked out of the race. I doubt on speed he would be in last, especially when you consider 2 of his teammates are in the top 5 of Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Larson in 4th, Elliott in 2nd. Top 5 has not changed at all. Harvick's still in 3rd and Austin Dillon's still in 5th. Top 5, the same 5 from what it was in qualifying. The clean air has to be helping Ryan Blaney as well. You would have to imagine that is making it harder on Chase Elliott. So it's going to be more crucial for Elliott to try and jump the gun on that restart. And who's to say what the order will be exiting the pit lane? We'll see if the field will pit before the stage or after the stage. Pit road does not close this time by. Elliott stays out on the racetrack. 3 to go. So pit road will close this time by. When Blaney hits the start-finish line is when pit road closes. So Elliott might have a chance to still pit. Blaney will obviously have a chance to pit, but everybody else is too far back. So those are the only 2 drivers that have the capability of pitting without being penalized. No, Bianca did not win last night. I think she was in the Final Four again. Ronda Rousey won. It came down to Rousey and Flair at the end. So 2 to go this time behind the stage. Does Elliott have anything for Ryan Blaney to get around him to get this playoff point? And will Blaney or Elliott pit this time by as well? I don't think Blaney wants to pit. He wants to stay out so he can get that playoff point. Elliott backing up. He will stay on the track. 2 to go in stage number 1. Again, it's going to be interesting to see if the AI will pit during the stage break, only because it will be towards the end of the pit window itself. I doubt they could go more than 2 more laps at the start of the next stage, but it'll be interesting. We know Blaney will definitely pit. It'll be interesting to see if that puts him back in traffic at all with doing so. Elliott's really been charging hard in the bus stop, kind of like he did with Blaney at the Clash on the Daytona road course last season. I just now realized that we have the possibility of potentially remaking that finish in this race today. Kyle Busch isn't up into 3rd place yet, though. He's still got a little bit to get there. We're still in stage 1. Final lap this time by in the opening stage at the Daytona road course. It does look as if Alex Bowman is out of the race with a mechanical issue of some sort. And it doesn't look like there will be any lap traffic in this opening stage with how long this road course is either. Neither Ryan Blaney nor Chase Elliott have caught anybody in the field. Blaney's fastest lap so far is a 152.347. That's about what he ran in qualifying. I believe he ran a 152.2 in qualifying. But I mentioned that he wasn't going to push it as hard in the race, trying to be a little bit more cautious so he doesn't get penalized. I don't know if I've ever made it a full race on this game without getting penalized at least once. That's the main focus here. Blaney is in it to win the championship, because knowing that there's going to be no more career mode, that I've had issues with that. This is our last chance to win a championship in this game, because remember our custom schedule season with Christopher Bell, we didn't even make it to the round of 8 of the playoffs. So career mode, we went round of 8. Custom schedule season, we got knocked out in the round of 12. What's going to happen this season? It's our last chance to win a championship in this game, so you can bet Ryan Blaney will be competing to the very end in every race this season. Unless he, of course, DNFs because of an actual accident, but as far as myself, we're not just going to park it if we get in an accident. We're going to survive for all the points possible. So we're going to need them all. Now, the leaderboard hasn't made any sense in a while. What you do need to know, though, is that Elliott is about 1.9 seconds off the lead heading into the front stretch chicane. Blaney's really pulled him in the last, really this final lap of the stage in general. Off the front stretch chicane, final time in the opening stage. Ryan Blaney will win stage 1. We got a few cars on pit road as we speak, but stage 1 will come to an end. Elliott pits, so that should be a penalty for those guys pitting right now, you would think. And there you see the stage points on your screen. Take a picture for points purposes again. So Ryan Blaney will win Stage 1, his first Stage win of the season. Chase Elliott finishes 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th, Austin Dillon 5th, William Byron 6th, Cole Custer 7th, Joey Logano 8th, Michael McDowell 9th, and Christopher Bell will round out the top 10 in Stage number 1. So Blaney will pit. No adjustments needed. It'll be 4 tires and fuel, and no damage to be repaired either, as he kept the car extremely clean, never hit anybody, never hit another driver. But it's going to be interesting to see where he restarts. And will every driver be on the lead lap? Because there were a lot of drivers who pitted on that final lap of the stage when they shouldn't have. They should have been penalized for it. Blaney will restart 14th. Green flag back in the air at the Daytona road course. Blaney going to have to try to make his way through this field as quickly as he can. 3 wide down into the first turn. Making the pass on to Benedetto and Jones as he's back in the middle of the pack. Desperately going to try not to make contact with anybody. He doesn't want to get knocked into the grass. That could cause some sort of an issue as there's a stoppage into the S's and contact with Eric Almirola in the 10 now. Off the front bumper of the 12 of Blaney. Not much damage on Blaney right now. Blaney's got to go because he's assuming Chase Elliott is up there and potentially pulling away. Wonder if anybody stayed out of the pits potentially during the stage break as well, and they may be pitting. So Blaney will be aware of possible cars pitting that stayed out during the stage break. Could be why he fell back to 14th. Stenhouse going really wide. Blaney trying to get around him, and does. Little slide job getting back up onto the banking. Blaney's moved up 2 spots since the restart. Amazing how quick the field spaced out once we got to the oval. It was so jam-packed in the infield. Blaney's got to make sure he doesn't push too hard. Again, he's still got to be patient, given the situation he's in. But if everybody did pit during the stage break, then he definitely has to be more reliant on his pit crew going forward in this race, because track position is definitely means a lot when it comes to road course racing. Great job through the front stretch chicane for Blaney. Makes a pass on Almirola. Should be able to carry the momentum to the inside of Kyle Busch as well. He'll clear him before entering turn 1. So Blaney back inside the top 10. 4 spots gain on the opening lap after the restart. Into turn 1. Throws it down in there. Makes a nice clean pass on Ross Chastain. Denny Hamlin in the 11. Blaney guns it into turn 4. Makes the pass on him. Up to 8th place. Now behind Bubba Wallace into the kink. Wallace finished the top 10 in stage 1. Great run into the kink that time. Now into the International Horseshoe. Blaney with a wide corner entry, trying to arc the corner in the middle and cut underneath the 23, but there's just not enough room to get underneath him that time. Great moment getting back into the gas as he tries to make the pass on Bubba Wallace and does. Up to 7th. Same spot he got around Stenhouse the lap before. The other JTG Doherty car up inside the top dozen as well. Ryan Preece running in 6th place. How about Corey LaJoie in 5th right now for Spire? Having a great run. Though he did not finish in the top 10 in that opening stage. Big power slide into the bus stop for Ryan Blaney. Nearly got into the back of the 37 of Preece as he tries to draft behind him in oval 3 and 4 now. Try not to run into the back of him. As they enter into the front stretch chicane. Blaney didn't want to exactly go side by side. Great set of corners. Preece will pit, so will LaJoie. So that will move Blaney back inside the top 5 now to 5th. Kurt Busch is the leader. Not sure where Chase Elliott's at in the running order. Wonder if Elliott got black flagged for pitting before the end of the stage. Some drivers stayed out a little bit longer, pitted the second lap after the restart. Truex is in second, Reddick is in fourth, and I believe I saw Chase Briscoe in third. Kurt Busch is the leader, though, for the first time today. We'll see if anybody else has to pit before the end. Blaney rounds out the top 5. Denny Hamlin's up to 6th. Chase Elliott is 21st. I think Elliott got penalized for pitting on the last lap of the stage. He still was second at the end of the first stage, so he'll get his stage points, but that's why he restarted so far back. And then some drivers stayed out, but then there were a lot of drivers that just flat out beat Blaney off of the pit lane. Not a lot, but a few. Enough where Blaney obviously lost the lead. Barely kept it on the racetrack there. He had 2 tires up on the curbing, luckily. He's got to be careful not to push it too hard. He knows he's got speed to be able to run the 8, the 19, and the 14 down. Briscoe just passed Truex that last lap for second. Might have went down in the bus stop, potentially. So we had 16 laps in stage 1, 18 laps in the second stage. So with this stage being 2 laps longer, could run into a potential issue in trying to make it to the end of this stage on fuel. It was close as it was in stage 1, but now you add a couple laps around a pretty long length road course. But you got to make that decision up before 2 to go in the stage, because it obviously costed Chase Elliott, who did lead the opening lap of the race, finished second in stage 1. He had to restart back at 21st. So no cautions for incident tonight. Only stoppage was the stage 1 break. We know we're going to have another stage break. Will we get a caution for incident here tonight at the Daytona road course? We'll just have to wait and see as time progresses. Blaney's been perfect, though, even on that restart back in traffic, as far as hitting his marks goes. Just made that little bit of contact with Eric Almirola on the restart into the Estes, and outside of that, he has literally made no contact with another driver all night. He hasn't hit the wall at all. No cutting of the corners. Big bounce off the curb that time, nearly spun the car around. Well, made a mistake right there. That was a close one. Did a great job holding on to it. And did a great job not cutting the next kink in that front stretch chicane as well. That curb and that turtle definitely shifted that car around quite a bit. And this is the high downforce, sorry, the low downforce, high horsepower package that was used throughout the 2021 season on road courses and short tracks. Look at how much Blaney closed in the braking zone into the international horseshoe on Tyler Reddick. Probably going to lose him on this straightaway speed, but I think he's going to be in a great opportunity to get around him off the exit of that front stretch chicane, which is what Blaney is shooting for. If he could just get around him in the tri-oval on the front stretch, It's ideally where he would like to get around him. Although he may get around him even before that. Look at him closing the bus stop. He's close enough to draft off him now. And he's definitely within striking distance to get around Reddick in this next set of corners. He's not going to overdrive it. He's going to sit behind him and just look to beat him back to the gas. And with ease, he's going to be able to do it, blowing around Tyler Reddick for 4th. Truex not that much further ahead in 3rd, and neither is Briscoe at 2nd, but Kurt Busch has really pulled away. He hasn't really been anywhere in sight so far. Oh, there he is. Just saw Kurt Busch exiting turn 4. First I've seen him so far since the restart. Dark Horse Marine, welcome to the stream. New patch helped this game in any? No. If you're talking about the new patch from this morning, no. And I say that definitively because it reset my career mode. Hence putting an end to the career mode on this channel. Because we were almost done with the first season and I don't feel like redoing it. So all of the statistics are not going to be there. So unless you want to run the risk of, you know, racing in your career mode and then just having it reset randomly. At whatever point you're at. Knowing that that is the only game feature in this mode. I don't think it's worth it. Based off that alone. If there were more features in this game, then, you know, maybe you could work your way around it, but that's literally the only feature in this game other than Race Now. We're doing this on Race Now. I obviously have to do the points myself, but I don't think everybody's going to want to do that. The stage patch. So, it's nice to have the stages. The penalties are so much harsher on the road courses. Haven't made one in this race. I'd like to keep it that way, but you lose a lap. But if you turn the penalties off, the stages turn off as well. So you have to have the penalties on for the stages to be on road courses. So I think that kind of hurt it a little bit. And then the scoring errors with the game are still there. We've had scoring errors after stages. We've had scoring errors after cautions randomly in this game still. And I say that the scoring errors are essentially... I could be running in 4th, you know, at the end of a stage, and I could lose my lap on the restart. If I pit or not. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. In the Daytona 500, we were lucky it didn't do it to us, but it did it to everybody outside the top 5. At the end of stage 2, everybody outside the top 5 was a lap down. And pretty much made it a 4-horse race there to the finish like you saw on Friday night. Blaney was able to win the race, but he was also lucky he wasn't the one that went a lap down. We'll see if we'll have any issues with that. It's just so random. I mean, it's because it's not consistent, so it's not like you can figure it out and work your way around it. It really is so random. So based off of, you know, the potential career mode reset and especially the scoring errors in general in this game, whether you have stages on or off, if you race a race without any cautions, I guess that's probably your best interest. And the most likely way you're going to have of getting a legitimate race in. But yeah, we've done enough of these full races to know that those are the biggest issues by far with this game right now. And they haven't fixed it through any... The penalties got worse as of the most recent patch, but the... You know, it's nice to have stages. That is a benefit. You know, I will give benefits when there are benefits, but it's also something that probably should have been in the game at the start as well. But regardless of the fact, outside of that, positives, graphics, physics on the road courses is perfect. Physics on the ovals, not so much. There are some ovals that drive fine for yourself, but the AI is so off. With the AI physics are probably the biggest issue. As well, I keep saying biggest. Obviously, not everything can be the biggest, but that's a big issue with this game also. Blaney got around Martin Truex Jr. on the tri-oval area of the racetrack, that front stretch chicane, that last lap through. He's not that far behind Chase Briscoe for second. Blaney won stage 1. He wants a shot to win stage 2 and get the sweep of the stages here tonight. Pumped for the NFC Championship. Well, good luck to your 49ers today. I wish I could be pumped for it too. My Packers got knocked out by the 49ers last week, unfortunately. So. Blaney coming in hot. Oh no, and he's going to get penalized. Had a bad feeling that was going to happen at some point today. He did cut the bus stop. There's no way of myself explaining out of that Blaney had power slid into the bus stop and he had blew the first corner he has blown all day. The bad part is the game puts you a lap down. As he passes Briscoe, which could be for second place. You wish it was a stop-and-go penalty, like it is in actual NASCAR. It should be a stop-and-go penalty, which obviously Blaney would have lost a lot of time. I would not be surprised if Truex would have gotten back around him, and Reddick for that matter, with the stop-and-go penalty. The problem is for Ryan Blaney is that instead of losing just a few positions, he's instead now a lap down, and he has to finish ahead of Kurt Busch to get back on the lead lap to the end of stage 2. So instead of getting stage points, it doesn't look like he will get stage points. And he better hope he can make it on fuel now, because if he pits, he's definitely going to be a lap down at the start of the final stage. Yeah, that's what I mean, though, with the penalties in this game. That perfectly explains it to a T, that they're way too harsh. And Blaney has been perfect for 23, well, I should say 22 and a half laps. And he made that one mistake, and all of a sudden, from running top 5 nearly all day, now he's back to 36th. And he is the first car lap down, but there's no free pass in this game. That's another issue. The free pass does not work. So he needs to unlap himself at the end of stage 2 if he's going to want even an opportunity to win this race. He's got to run Kurt Busch down. He's got time. He's still got about 10 laps to do it. 9 to go this time by, I believe. Blaney, a little too hard. I think the dirty air really hurt the 12. Now that we're far enough into the run where the tires are wearing out, that dirty air behind the 14 of Briscoe really costed him. And that's probably why he power slid into the corner. He did go a tad deeper, but there had been times where he had gone deep into the corner and never really locked the tires up like he did right there. Again, that was the only mistake he has made all day. It's just so unfortunate to make such a minor mistake once and have that problem again. He has only made contact with another car once, and that was on that restart to stage number 1, or restart to start stage 2 with Almirola in the S's. To his back bumper, a little bit of contact, that was it. He hasn't hit the wall yet today. No penalties until that one a couple laps ago. That was a legitimate penalty, but we should not be a lap down in 36. We should probably be like in 5th place. With the stop and go, we would have lost a couple laps. Patrick Shadley, welcome to the stream. Good morning where you live. Good afternoon where I'm at on the east. Blaney is creeping in on Busch, slowly but surely. The good news is Blaney did get a playoff point and 10 stage points for the regular season standings to go with it. Another good thing is we still got over half the race to go, so he can make up this time, no problem, knowing that we will have one restart with the start of the final stage. But obviously he cannot make another mistake in this race if he's going to want a shot to win. And any shot he had of winning stage 2 is now out the window. I think if he just stays calm, he's faster than Kurt Busch. He should be able to run him down. As long as we stay green to the end of the stage, at least, is the big thing. Because if we do get a caution, the stage could actually end prematurely. And that would really trap Blaney a lap down as well, even if a caution came out. But we haven't had a caution so far today for incident. So he's going to feel confident that it will stay that way. And he's just going to continue to run his race. Big power slide in the International Horseshoe that time. Off that flat curb trying to get back into the gas. So who would have thought when the race seemed like it was going to come down between Blaney and Elliott? And neither one of those two are even in the top 10 anymore. In stage 2, but a long way to go. Remember, Elliott got penalized at the end of stage 1 for pitting on the final lap of the stage, and that's why he restarted back at 21st. That is an actual rule in NASCAR, so... I wonder if it invalidated his lap and he's a lap down. Well, no, it wouldn't be an invalidated lap because... we're only one lap down in 36th. Blaney's going to miss it again. Oh my goodness. He did not get penalized even though he completely went around the front stretch chicane pushing too hard. I'm not going to give myself a stop and go penalty due to the harsh penalty I had already. The extremely harsh penalty for missing the bus stop. I would have done a stop and go if I didn't get the harsh penalty before. Honestly, if the penalties were not this harsh in this game, you guys know that I would have put the stop and go in the bus stop. I clearly cut the bus stop. I clearly cut that corner as well. Didn't get penalized for it, though, that time. But Blaney's just got to really settle it down. He ran so perfect in stage 1, but now that he's on the attack, he is pushing just a little bit too hard. And he doesn't need to. He's got the race car. Restalk up, welcome to the stream. There was no lap traffic at all in stage 1, so I don't think Blaney will catch anybody for position before the end of the stage. If Kurt Busch pits, I think if you're Blaney, you might have to pit. And just hope that you have a faster stop than him. Because otherwise you're going to have to stay out and then pit during the stage break. That puts you back in traffic. I don't know what the strategy is here, but I think if Kurt Busch pits, you have to pit as well. Then again, though, it seemed like Blaney was catching Kurt, but now I really don't know if he's actually catching him. He made that mistake in the front stretch chicane last lap, and he didn't really gain anything at all. He's coming in hot again. Almost missed it again. Off the curbing. No penalty. That one shouldn't have been a penalty anyway. He did get onto the curbing. Blaney tried to get the car to whoa up as much as he could. Tires are greasy right now. They are slick. Definitely a tense situation for Ryan Blaney. He's going to want a shot to win the first 2 races to start the season. He and Elliott have the cars capable of winning. On speed alone, guaranteed top 2 coming into this race today. But the way things are running right now, it is not looking good. Into the bus stop. Tell Blaney was faster than Kurt Busch that last lap. He did close on him quite a bit. Definitely backing up the front stretch chicane a lot more this lap than what he did the lap before. I should say each of the last 2 laps, really, for Blaney. Less than 10 minutes to go in the Rolex 24. Hopefully Castroneves can get it done. What a calendar year he's had. Win this race, he won the Indy 500 back in May. 2 prestigious races right there. North America. Really in the world, all things considered. There's a lot of international drivers in this race. Rolex 24 at least. All over the motorsports world. Kurt Busch is getting a little bit bigger. Out of the front of Ryan Blaney's race car. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. A couple big hops off the curb that time for Ryan Blaney. Blaney's just got to keep it smooth. There's no reason why he wouldn't be able to catch Kurt Busch. We said that already. But now that he's definitely gaining on Busch quite a bit more, it's becoming more and more likely. We'll have 3 laps to go in the stage this time by, considering that Blaney is a lap down. But again, you keep the pace on, he should be able to get to Kurt. I believe Bowman DNF back in stage 1. I believe he was the only driver that was actually out of the race at the end of the first stage. Blaney bleeds the brakes. Into the bus stop. Trying to desperately run down Kurt Busch. Busch potentially pulling a little bit further ahead of Blaney. 3 more laps for Ryan Blaney to get to Busch. So pit road not closed yet. I did see 1 car down there that last time through. Not sure who it was. Somebody was in the pit lane. And there's a lot of lap traffic up ahead all of a sudden. I think those are all drivers who have pit. So Blaney is up to 35th. He did pass somebody in pit. Yeah, Bowman's still in last. He is out of the race. The only known driver out. I think Kurt's going to have some lap traffic. Hopefully that doesn't hinder the 12 of Blaney at all, but it would put dirty air on the 1. Maybe even before the 12 gets to the 1. Blaney must finish on the lead lap to the end of stage 2 if he's going to want a shot to win in the final stage. And we'll see if Kurt Busch pits this time by. Pit road will close when Kurt Busch gets to the start-finish line. So if he just pulls over, it might just let Blaney get off with these. Then he can really take it easy these final few laps. He's pushing a little bit. Into the bus stop. Doesn't want to push too hard. That's where he got black flagged. The only mistake he's made all day. 2 to go this time by in the stage. Kyle Larson's back to 36. Something happened to Larson. Finished top 5 back in stage 1. Kurt has not caught that lap traffic yet, but it is... Oh, and Kurt into the pits. Kurt Busch will pit this time. So that will give Blaney back on the lead lap. So Ryan Blaney is back on the lead lap at the Daytona Road Course. Blaney's going to try to gain as many spots as he can here. For position purposes. Remember, this stage is 2 laps longer than stage 1. Blaney will not have to run the entirety of the final lap. Once the top 10 cross the start-finish line, the stage will come to an end. Blaney up to 32nd, by the way, now. And Chase Briscoe is the leader. Kurt Busch looks to be in second. Chase Elliott's outside the top 35? I think we've got some drivers that are potentially out of this race. Intriguing, to say the least. More cars pitting up ahead. A lot of the cars in the pit lane. Blaney's got 2 laps to go in the stage now. We ride on board. All over the back bumper of the 6 of Ryan Newman. Into the S's. Lets Newman go. Blaney up to 22nd. Crew chief hasn't even said anything about the fuel situation for Ryan Blaney, so you would think that he is perfectly fine. I wish there was a fuel gauge on the in-car cam as well. Or the... Yeah. I mean, you would think there would. Heck, NASCAR Thunder 2004 has a fuel gauge in the car. There's a lot of things NASCAR Thunder 2004 has that this game doesn't. Rear view mirror, telemetry. Oh, a little contact with the back of Ryan Newman. Getting back up onto the oval. Larson's up to 26, so he is still in the race. Maybe a pit road speeding penalty for Larson, or maybe they've had invalidated laps as well. Who knows? Blaney in the draft of Ryan Newman. Oh yeah, low on fuel now for Ryan Blaney. So that's the first time that his crew chief has said anything about it. He's only got to go 1 more lap. And he doesn't even have to run the full next lap either. He could just kind of coast it. Pit road is closed, so he knows if he pits now that he's going to lose that lap he got back anyway. So it's pretty much all said and done that Blaney's going to have to stay out. Once the top 10 cross the start-finish line, the stage will come to an end. We got more cars pitting up ahead. They don't care if they get penalized. Ryan Blaney cares if he gets penalized, though. So again, he'll stay out on the racetrack. Does Blaney have enough fuel to go the extra 2 laps in Stage 2 versus Stage 1? Caution free so far in this stage, just like Stage 1 went. Just waiting for that 10th place car. The leader has just taken the stage victory. And never mind, Bowman's back out on the racetrack. He's still in last, but he is back on the track. A lot fresher tires than the 12 of Blaney right now. So when will... And there it is. So Blaney made it on fuel all the way to the end of the stage. And we'll take a look at the Stage 2 results. Those 10 stage points are total, by the way. Again, Blaney did win Stage 1. Kurt Busch will go on to win Stage 2, pitting right before pit road closed. That worked out for him very well. First Stage 1 of the year for Kurt Busch and Chip Ganassi Racing. Martin Truex Jr. will finish in second, Chase Briscoe third, Tyler Reddick fourth, Denny Hamlin will round out the top 5. Ross Chastain 6th, Kyle Busch 7th, Eric Almirola 8th, Brad Keselowski 9th, and Christopher Bell will round out the top 10 in stage number 2. Schneider will pit during the stage break. He ended up finishing, or sorry, not Schneider, Blaney. Ryan Blaney finished 18th in the stage. He will pit during the stage break. So he's right back in it again, no damage to repair. 4 tires and fuel for the 12 of Blaney, and hopefully he can have a pretty quick stop. Now, most of the drivers pit before pit road close. Some of them pit after pit road close. So it's going to be interesting to see where Blaney restarts. And hopefully the game does not put us a lap down like it did with the field in the Daytona 500 at the end of Stage 2. We'll hope for the best. To the restart. Blaney back in 27th for the restart. Green flag back in the air at Daytona. Oh, he's getting a massive launch. The field's checking up. Oh, and Eric Jones pulls up right in front of the 12 of Blaney. As the entire inside lane is stalling out on this restart. Blaney just kind of creeping his way through. Oh, and man, they're stacking up again. Contact with the back of Chase Elliott into the S's, launching him forward. Another stack up. Blaney trying to leisurely make his way through the field. Blaney clear into the kink. Expecting another stack up into the International Horseshoe. And expecting it as he did. Make a few more passes. Denny Hamlin to the inside. 3 wide squeeze. It's actually Stenhouse. It was Stenhouse and then Josh Bilicki. Oh, contact. Getting back up onto the oval between Blaney and Bilicki. Blaney makes the pass on Bilicki. Big run on Ryan Preece in the 37. Preece squeezing Ryan Blaney, trying to side draft him. Get down to that bottom lane. So we know about 18 laps is all Blaney could go on fuel today at the max. And that would be risking it if he even makes it a full 18. But we do know that for going forward the rest of this race. We were exactly halfway on the restart. 35 laps to go. That would mean it would be a 17 and an 18 lap run to the finish. So he will have to push it 18 laps at some point. He's definitely going to try to make that the final lap if he can help it. Another pass for position there for the 12 of Blaney. Looking out of the inside of Daniel Suarez into turn 1. Makes the pass. It's underneath of Kyle Larson, side by side in the S's. Dangerous area of the track to go side by side, but Blaney makes it through with no contact whatsoever. Drives it deep into turn 4 to the inside of Anthony Alfredo and make a nice clean pass there as well. Blaney up to 18th, right where he finished at the end of stage 2. What a comeback this would be for Ryan Blaney if he can make his way through the field and potentially win this race. I know he won stage 1. That alone goes to show he's definitely got a car capable of being able to do something like that. Stage 3 gets very, very aggressive. Yes, it will. Oh, Schneider nearly... I keep saying Schneider. It's not the career mode anymore, Keegan. Ryan Blaney nearly spun out. Get back to the gas. Careful not to mash it. The low downforce, high horsepower package on any track in this game, and Blaney about jumped back into the gun a little too much there. Into the bus stop. Closes on Justin Haley. The 77. Look at how close that back bumper Blaney got both times. He never made contact with him. Talk about putting pressure on another driver. Blaney doing that with Haley right now. Into the front stretch chicane. Will bounce off the curb, but the 12 keeps it to the inside. Will get past Haley cleanly. Should power his way around the 53 of Joey Gase in the tri-oval cleanly. He does, up to 16th for Ryan Blaney. Trying to go from 27th on the restart to this final stage. Kurt Busch leads after winning stage 2. In his final season with Chip Ganassi Racing, trying to get a win. We know in NASCAR 22 he'll be headed over to another race team. 23-11 in an expansion ride. Oh, what a move by Blaney. Making the pass as cleanly as he could that time on Quinn Houff. And that will move Blaney inside the top 15. Herbie Solomon, welcome to the stream. I'm leaving the Tuesday before the 500. Or, sorry, Wednesday. The Wednesday before the 500. I gotta work that Tuesday. But then I go on vacation that Wednesday, so plan on getting there Thursday for the dual race. I'm not sure what time yet. My dad's got a friend that he worked with for a while. He moved to Atlanta last year, so we're staying in Atlanta the first night at that guy's house, so we have somewhere to stay for free, and then we're gonna drive the next day, because it's about a 16-hour drive for us. I would be down for going in one day if I left super early in the morning, but that's okay. We got 2 days to get there with leaving Wednesday, so I'm not worried about it. We'll drive 10 hours one day and 6 the next. If my dad wasn't going with me, I probably would push it all the way through, but I have no problems driving long distances. Oh, Blaney nearly spins out. Massive slide job to get around Michael McDowell in the 34 car. That was in turn 4. Into the international horseshoe for Blaney. You can message me on Instagram. Since an hour ago, if you missed the entirety of stage 2, Blaney did have a penalty for missing the bus stop, and I did actually miss it. Cost us a chance of getting stage points at stage 1, finished 18th. Limped it on field to make it to the end of stage 2 without pitting. Oh, contact! Blaney into the back of his teammate Logano. Logano nearly goes around. As significant of contact as we've seen so far today from the 12 of Blaney. Saw it all on the dash cam. Logano just checked up a lot more. I don't know if the cars in front of him checked up, which is why Logano checked up as much as he did. Blaney was not expecting that whatsoever. Well, we're definitely not going to have to pit next time, but I don't know what the crew chief's talking about. We pit at the stage break. And Blaney did win stage 1, if you missed that as well. Little tap to the back of Logano. These two teammates not racing like teammates right now. Side by side in the S's. That was tight, but they both made it through. Blaney a bit wide. Barely kept it on the racetrack. Had a little bit of access pavement and curvature to go off of. Blaney tiptoeing on the throttle. You could hear him popping in and out of the gas, just trying to keep it off the 3 of Austin Dillon. Dillon was top 5, finished 5th at the end of stage 1. Little bump draft. Back onto the high banks here at Daytona. Oh boy. Blaney even a little tight back up onto the oval riding behind Dillon. Into the bus stop. Blaney a lot wider, trying to arc the corner off as much as he can to get around the 3. No chance to do it there, but he does keep within close proximity. Blaney's in 29th. When did we get an invalidated lap? Blaney is a lap down in 29th. As he finally works his way around both Austin Dillon and now Brad Keselowski. I have no clue when that happened. It must have been when we used the access pavement off the exit of turn 4. But it's not corner cutting, like I... Could have met at Indy right behind. Hang on, I'm trying to read it. Yeah, now we're a lap down a second time. In 29. I have no clue how we're a lap down though. That one I really don't know exactly where I had the invalidated lap. Like, I did not corner cut at all, wherever it was. Blaney's kind of been just taking his sweet old time getting through the field. He's not worried about rushing. He's got the 10th place car of William Byron just up ahead. The only saving grace, because Blaney pit at the stage break and everybody else hit before the stage break, they may have to pit twice in this final stage. Blaney only has to pit once. So he can definitely get back on the lead lap because of that. And then we'll just, from there, have to wait and see if we get a caution. All he can really do is just run his own race and hope for the best. And he should be in 10th right now. That's where he should be. Yeah, I wasn't on that area of the racetrack at Indy. I sat in my seat the whole time during the race. I didn't move around at all. So I wouldn't have saw you in person at least. That's pretty cool though. Yeah, I was sitting right about where the start-finish line was on the front stretch the entire race. Both days, really. It's had the same seat for all 3 races that weekend between the IndyCar, Xfinity, and Cup race. Ooh. Bell trying to throw a block on Blaney. Blaney took a very small look. Into the bus stop, a little tap to the back of the 20 of Bell. Another tap. So with the field not pitting during stage 2 like Blaney did, which is why Blaney restarted 27th to begin with. He's a lap down, should be in 8th place after getting around Almirola in the tri-oval. Just have to wait and see. Again, Blaney can really just only run his race. See, for the most part, the car's been clean all day long. Yeah, general admission, basically, you can just walk around the track. I think everybody had general admission that day, for the most part. I mean, I could tell you where I sat. I did not buy those tickets. I bought cheaper seats. They weren't checking in the area where I went up the stairs, so I ended up sitting in. I was literally like the only one of 3 people in my section. I had like the best seats, like on the start-finish line, all the way up. Had cushioned seats. Those tickets were probably... I would not be surprised if those tickets were well over $100. And I just had my general admission ticket. I was there for both the IndyCar, the Xfinity, and the Cup race, all 3 races. See, because I took the stairs. There was somebody at the elevator checking the tickets, but I didn't go up the elevator. I took the stairs. There's nobody checking the tickets where the stairs were. Which is exactly what happened in the 2018 Brickyard 400, because I did the same exact thing that weekend. Where I remember that from the time before. I'm like, all right, we'll see if there's somebody by the stairs again. Nope, there wasn't all weekend, so it's a plus for me. I did walk down to that area, though, in between races on Saturday. And then also between qualifying on Sunday and the actual race, I also walked down into the where the pits were and everything. And in the infield. Because I went to the Indianapolis Museum. Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum on Sunday in between qualifying and the race. It's in there for a good hour and a half or so. Just gonna have to pay attention to when we hit 18 laps to go, because that's when Blaney's gonna have to pit. That's going to be an invalidated lap. No, it's not. I got one in practice, or sorry, in qualifying for doing that. I went wide in turn 1. It shouldn't be a penalty for... I mean, you're not corner cutting, you're just missing the corner. You're going wide. You're already losing time, so... The whole portion of giving a penalty for corner cutting is because you're gaining time. When you go out of the groove like that, you're obviously losing time. Game doesn't care, though. The game shows zero emotional restraint or emotional support. Hour away from the Bengals and Chiefs. Good luck to your Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not counting Ryan Blaney out of this race yet. A lot of it is the never say die attitude that I have. And that anything could really happen. But just basing off of the fact, if we just get one caution at any point in time while he is on the lead lap, that he will be back in this race. Hot into turn 4. Jaden Rochelle, welcome to the stream. And not even just the one caution, how fast is Blaney compared to everybody else? On overall speed that he can gain time with one stop versus everybody else having to make 2. You don't think he can gain a full lap, but you just never know. Put a lot of pressure on Kyle Busch in the International Horseshoe, but then Busch beat him back to the gas. Well, you can definitely feel the car getting a bit tighter without really pushing any harder when he gets close behind the 18. That's why he nearly went off the track there a couple times. A little more spacing into the bus stop this time, so he's able to hit his marks perfectly and closes back in just a tad on Busch. When he blows by Busch. Just think all these passes he's making on these cars right now would be for position. Instead, they are not. Pretty good corner that time for Blaney in the International Horseshoe that time around. Didn't lose any time to Ross Chastain there. Had a problem getting up to speed in oval turns 1 and 2 though, so that's where Chastain will pull him just a tad. Blaney maybe getting a little bit of drafting help off Chastain, but not a whole lot. Better than nothing. Now he's starting to get a little bit better of a pull down the backstretch. Into the bus stop they go. There it is. Great set of corners for Ryan Blaney. And again, back in the draft now at Oval 3 and 4. This has the potential to be one of his fastest laps of the race as long as Chastain doesn't hold Blaney up too much in this front stretch chicane. Blaney just going to try to sweep the corner, back it up as much as he can off the turtles. Great job. "25 laps to go." The Daytona road course. Denny Hamlin in 5th. Tyler Reddick in 4th, just up ahead. See Briscoe in 3rd. Have to imagine Truex and Kurt Busch have really pulled away, though, since the restart. Schneider going a bit wide. Oh, and around he goes. Spin for the 12 of Blaney. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Just got that left rear tire out into the grass enough that he overran the International Horseshoe, and around he went. Spins the car back around as we continue to stay green. Keep a close eye on my gas. Well, we can't really do that. No telemetry in the game. I get what you're saying, though. Man, that costed Blaney a ton of time. Look how far back behind Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain he is now, even after passing him a few laps ago. Would imagine we will be seeing drivers pit very shortly, considering that they are likely going to be pitting twice due to not pitting during the stage break, compared to the 12 of Blaney. And there it is. Some of the leaders are pitting as we speak. A lot of the leaders are pitting as we speak. Big bounce off the curb for Blaney as he keeps it going. And he drove it pretty deep down into turn 1. Busch is in 3rd. He was the leader, so with those pit stops happening, that tells me that Ryan Blaney should be back on the lead lap. Should be. Obviously, he's still going to have to pit with about 18 laps to go. But now would be the time to hope for a caution if you're Ryan Blaney to get back into this race. Really, it's now or never. Over these next however many laps before the pit stop. You guys may think that this is dirty. And I can understand if you do think it is. But if Kurt Busch ends up running us down, which I would imagine he will considering he's got fresher tires, he would put us a lap down again. I'm thinking about taking him out. And I'm sorry for any Kurt Busch fans. I hate that I have to do it. But the only reason I would even consider doing it is because we shouldn't even be a lap down in the first place. I still have no clue. I have little clue as to how we got the penalty. And the only clue I have is that we went wide in turn 4. I kept it on the actual pavement, but I think it gave me an invalid lap for cutting the course, even though I didn't cut the course. I went too far wide. Now we're going to get a penalty here. Yep, there it is. Well, so much for that. So much for that strategy. Blaney just blew the bus stop for the second time today, and that's another penalty. Now he's back to 36. So much for that. Golly. You gotta be joking me. Blaney is now in last place. Go back to the far chase cam for now. Zero clue as to how Ryan Blaney is in last, but he is in last. An invalid lap at the Daytona road course. Cody Bellinger, welcome to the stream. Got a Dodgers fan down in the chat. Matt Mills might be for position here. Could be a battle for 39th. What a turn for the worse for Ryan Blaney today. Based off the running order the way it is right now, Blaney should be the leader. Instead, he is in last. Well, Kurt Busch would probably be ahead of him because he would have had to make another stop-and-go penalty, but Blaney would be in second behind Kurt Busch. Instead, he is in last. What, 1 lap down? Almost 2 down? Once Kurt Busch would pass us, we'd be 2 laps down. Blaney's struggling to get around Mills right now. Going to give him a little bumper tag. Not really moving him anywhere, though. running the draft behind the 55 of Mills. Gonna outbrake him into the front stretch chicane. Should have 19 laps to go now. Well, there's some spots to be made, considering that Blaney's not the only driver a lap down. Obviously, past Mills, BJ McLeod, and Cody Ware. Probably within vicinity that Blaney should be able to get around. And plus, the field does have to pit one more time. But then again, Blaney hasn't made his stop yet in this stage, so everybody has to pit once before the end of the race. Two corner cutting penalties in the bus stop for Ryan Blaney. Taking him out of the race today. And not because of stop and go penalties either, it's because it puts you a lap down. Came back at the end of stage 2 to finish on the lead lap from a lap down there, but now this one, 2 of them in the final stage alone, and one wasn't even me cutting the corner. Went wide in turn 4 and it gave me a penalty. I was worried of that happening. And that's why I wanted to turn the cautions off, but I knew if I did that, there wouldn't be stage points that would have been accumulated for. And I don't want the stages off for some races and on for others. And fortunately, it bit Blaney today. We're at the point now we get cautions, it's not going to matter. He's going to end up finishing a bunch of laps down anyway. Oh, well, he just tagged the 78 of McLeod. BJ saved it. He did. Blaney off into the grass at the International Horseshoe. Bit of a mistake. Blaney's out of gas. Unbelievable. Spotter's calling for you to pit. He's been calling for me to pit since the first lap after the restart for stage 2. Well, that's gonna end this one. Trying to get back up onto the banking, bring out a caution. I ran out of gas before I could do it, though. Wow. I kind of... trust me when I say I was paying attention to the fuel. Well, paying attention to what I mean, there's no telemetry to look off of, but based off of how far I was able to go all the way in stage 2, I made it 18 laps. So that was kind of the limit, 18 laps. We're on lap 17, but I've lost 2 laps during this stage, which would essentially mean I'm on lap 19 of this stage when I ran out. And I kind of forgot about losing 2 laps because I shouldn't have lost 2 laps. So I actually ran 2 laps further than what I wanted to. But, I mean, who cares? We were 39th anyway after a couple penalties. What, we would have gained a couple more positions. But we would have had to finish inside the top 35 just to get more points anyway. And we're just sitting here and there's no caution. Why? Well, Blaney has DNF. Fall from grace after winning the Daytona 500 and winning stage 1 today after qualifying on the pole. This is all the game today. Me running out of fuel. Take it for what it is. You know, even if you put that on me, we would not have gotten back on the lead lap today. It's just bullcrap. Well, like I said, I'm not as upset as I probably should be. I'm not too upset in the grand scheme of things because this is the final season. I'm not going to restart the career mode due to an issue there. I will be posting a video here very shortly on the channel regarding the career mode status and why I will not be continuing that. But we do have to finish this race regardless of the fact, so we're going to have to put a short race on. I did take pictures of the stage points, so we're good there. Looks like Ryan Blaney will finish last today. Put myself in last also. I know you had mentioned something in the chat, Santiago Kid. I just it had nothing to do with the spotter calling me into the pit. Next lap to be sure, but I did make it a couple extra laps after that. But yeah, I wanted to make it to 18 laps to go so I could make it to the end of the race, and we were at 17 to go considering I was a couple laps down, so I should have pit the lap before, and I would have been good on fuel to the end of the race anyway.
Alex Hayden here to bring you the action of this 3-point.
Considering we were a couple laps down.
Daytona. This race is still fairly new to the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, so it could.
Well, Blaney gonna finish last. Well, one final lap to decide the winner of the second race of the season at the Daytona Road Course on the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel. Ryan Blaney, after winning the 500, will finish last today. And just try to stay out of everybody's way and take a little detour here. Dawson Fair, welcome to the stream. Why? Why am I simulating the race? Because I ran out of fuel. I was out of gas. I was just sitting on the track. Not the first time. I can hope it'll be the last, but with this game. I will still finish last. I was coming down here so I could sit on the racetrack and wait for the leaders to make their way through. Whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't want it to go in reverse. I just wanted to park it here. And I should be out of the way enough that they should get by me without stopping. I don't see why they would stop. Michael McDowell is currently leading this race. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in second. Mark Truex Jr. in third. Austin Dillon fourth. Denny Hamlin rounds out the top five. And they will be making their way very shortly. It's showing me in last. I'm not sure why. Why am I in last? I mean, I'm going to finish last anyway. But... And Michael McDowell's got a pretty good advantage coming in hot into the front stretch chicane. Upset winner in the second race of the year, Michael McDowell. will win at the Daytona road course, punching his ticket into the playoffs. Barely staying out of everybody's way there. Do I have to run another lap? It's making me run another lap. Oh, look at that gap. Let's see how fast I can go without a restrictor plate at Daytona. No restrictor plate at Daytona. How fast can we go? Will the engine expire? We're redlining it at 2:08 right now. Yeah, I blew the engine, I believe. I believe the cars can go faster than 2:08. I think the gearing we have in it will not allow me to go faster than that. Why am I not finishing this race? Why is this game so broken? I don't even care. Do I have to run a normal lap? I'm cutting the corner. Yeah, but the black flag is not on. The black flags are off. So it shouldn't even count corner cutting penalties anyway. Fine, I'll run a normal lap. Oh, for the love of God. It's gonna black flag me for this too, isn't it? This is bullcrap. I just want to see the results of this race. There's no way to just simulate. I just want to finish this race, please. Trey Boggs, welcome to the stream. Cut the bus stop at chicanes only. I've ran 3 laps in a 1-lap race. I'm still not done yet. Well, there's the bus stop and the chicane's on the front stretch. I didn't skip anything else. I went wide in the grass and turned forward. Might have black flagged me for that. I mean, I did it in the race. There we go. My goodness. Well, we'll take a look at your finishing results. Michael McDowell again with the win. In just the second race of the season, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will finish in second. Marchuk Jr. 30, ran top 5 all day. Austin Dillman's in the top 10 all day, finished 4th. Denny Hamlin in the top 10 all day, rounds out the top 5. Eric Jones 6th, Josh Bilicki 7th, Matt DiBenedetto 8th, Joey Logano 9th, and Ryan Newman rounds out the top 10. So with basically simulating this, the rest of the race, because we ran out of fuel with about 17 laps to go, that the finishing results are definitely random, because Michael McDowell, I think he was actually in the top 10 at the end of stage 2, but I don't think he had a shot to win. Kurt Busch looked like the favorite to win, and Chase Elliott had his issues earlier. It looked like he was going to have a potential favorite to win. They finished 15th and 17th. Kurt Busch, of course, won stage 2. Blaney did win stage 1, so he will get a playoff point. He will still get 10 stage points for the regular season standings as well. And now I got to make sure I take a picture of this so I can get the points. Not sure when the next race of the schedule will be, but it will be at the Homestead Miami Speedway whenever it will come about. Do not forget that this is a doubleheader Sunday on the channel. Our next stream will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 at Daytona on the Oval. So on the Daytona Oval, Truck Series season finale, NASCAR 05, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, part of our doubleheader. The reason why the career mode is not the second race of the doubleheader tonight is because I'm done with the career mode in NASCAR 21 Ignition because the game reset myself. Again, video on that coming up here very shortly, so just be on the lookout for that. Check it out just because, so it makes you aware of why I'm not finishing the career mode and why I'm not, I should say, redoing the career mode. Because I just have a bad feeling that's going to end up happening again at some point, and I don't want it to happen. Thanks everybody for watching, for understanding the frustrations of this game. We'll try to enjoy these final 34 races on this game. Thanks so much. Appreciate the support as always. And I will see you guys later tonight.